Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Late Night Crypto Talk. Bitcoin Brandon here from Los Angeles, California. Monday evening. Go ahead and type in the chat box where you're listening in from and your name. I see we have so far on Sean the Voice, Robinson, Court Gomes, Mr. Shane West, Tony Pinkston, Marty Bali, Shane Robinson, Jacqueline Briggs, Clevie Stewart, Bethany Gibbs, Ujay, welcome, welcome. Make sure you guys hit the thumbs up button for the YouTube channel. As a disclaimer, I am not a licensed financial advisor to be giving financial advice. I read the news, give my opinion, share a suggestion, and it is up to you to make an informed, intelligent decision on which direction you want to move into. There's 4 rules I live by in the crypto space to have success. Rule number 1, education is key. Education is everything. Rule number 2, never invest money you cannot afford to lose. Rule number 3, always get your return on investment back as fast as possible. And rule number 4, where do you see yourself in 3 months, 6 months, and a year from now? What are you willing to do to make it happen? Find a vehicle of choice, take action, and remain focused. Do not get distracted. Now, this is not going to guarantee you success, but it will at least minimize your risk. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the most that we can ask for. So let's go ahead and get started. There's only 2 articles we're going to cover tonight. All right, so let's get screen share up so you should be able to see my screen. Now, the markets have been having a bit of a rally this morning, all the way up to now. I still call it a soft dead cat bounce or a flat ball bounce. So the market cap is now up to 124 billion. Has been steadily rising all day. Bitcoin dominance 52.3%. Bitcoin's at 4% positive. Ethereum is still the biggest winner in the top 10. Whoa. Tron is up 14%. Look at that. Best performers last 24 hours. Augur, 27%. Ravane, Tron, 14. Stratus, 12. Pundi X, 12.29%. I see a lot of double digit. I like that. Ethereum, almost 10%. The number 3 coin. Where's Bitcoin, Cash, and Bitcoin SV? There we go. No, that's Binance Coin. Huh, there it is. Bitcoin Cash is up 5.8%. Let's see, worst performers. Optimal Shelf, Electronium, negative 1.75%. So not too much negative at all. Articles we're going to cover tonight. First up, the recession. I think most experts agree that the recession's coming. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. JP Morgan says that it's a 80% chance we will be in a recession in the next 3 years. But Jamie Dimon came out last week, a couple of days ago, and said that, there's not going to be no recession. The economy is about to bounce back. Who do you listen to? So no recession for at least 5 years, Oppenheimer Fund's investment boss says. There's no fear of an economic recession within the next 5 years. So everyone anxious about bearish projections should calm down. That's the advice of Krishna Mamani, the chief investment officer at Oppenheimer Funds. Mamani says the U.S. economy is slowing down a bit, but it will still increase north of 2%. Moreover, Mamani says that fears of a U.S. recession that will drag down the global economy is overblown. Really? Why do you say so? There's no recession imminent. I think 5 more years is what we are talking about. Krishna told NBC on January 14th today. Valuations are meaningfully better. And sentiment improves with the trade talks. If we can find that resolution and the federal government opens up again, we will be home free. Really? The prediction of the recession happened before Donald Trump was talking about cutting China's legs off in the trade talks, before there was a government shutdown. So Mamani Says the Federal Reserve indication that it won't raise rates again has calmed Wall Street anxiety. Fed Chairman Jerome Powell hiked U.S. interest rates a stunning 4 times in 2018. The Federal Reserve has hiked interest rates 7 times during President Donald Trump's 2 years in office. In contrast, the Fed increased rates just once during Obama's 8-year tenure. So Mamani says the Fed has backed off, so that should calm things down. The repeated rate hikes in 2018 caused the stock market to tumble in December and fueled widespread fears of a recession. Amid heavy backlash from all sides, Powell vowed to be more sensitive before raising rates so frequently. The Fed has effectively backed off, Mamani observed. That's a good thing. Even if they tighten 1 or 2 more times, I think they will put more color around it, to not spook the markets. Says Mamani, trade is biggest risk in market. Really? Mamani says the biggest risk in the global trade market, stock market, is trade. However, he's optimistic that the ongoing trade disputes between the United States and China will be resolved. Why? Because both sides have too much to lose if they don't fix the problem. Really? That means that both sides will have to negotiate. And in negotiation, you got to give up something you don't want and have a little something that you do want. It can't be one person or one side wins all. That's why we're in a government shutdown right now with no end in sight. I'm a little skeptical here about his optimism. I could be wrong. I hope he's wrong. I don't wish for there to be a recession. This trade is an open issue, but we will find a resolution because of the data flow that we are seeing, which is that the Chinese economy is slowing down meaningfully and the U.S. economy is slowing down meaningfully. So, what are we playing chicken here to see who's going to cave first? I just saw the news. We have a government official that says all the furloughed people, in other words, people not getting a paycheck from the federal government, it's not too bad. I mean, they're taking a vacation now without having to use vacation days. He actually said that. We just got to make some adjustments. Really? You would think we would have to find a conclusion relatively quickly, but that doesn't seem to be happening. Despite the global economic slowdown, Mamani is still recommending that investors buy. We are telling people to buy right now because we expect these resolutions, he said. JP Morgan's Jamie Dimon, no global recession. You remember what I was saying here? When these guys say something, you might want to do the opposite. Oppenheimer Funds, Mamani echoed the bullish market sentiments of JP Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon. Last week, the billionaire banker said a global recession is not coming, so everyone needs to take a deep breath. Dimon concedes that we are experiencing a slowdown, but the media-fueled hysteria of an imminent recession is fake news. To be honest, I have not seen the media saying that this is taking place. We're imminent. I see them saying that about Bitcoin. I don't see them saying that about the economy or the stock market. I don't know where he's getting that from. The United States is still growing at 2.5%. It's very possible we have a slowdown. People should take a deep breath. Dimon says the market was roiled by the Fed rate hikes. So we got 2 big guys here talking about the Fed rate hike. And escalating trade tensions between China and the U.S., but that has eased a bit. As it is, the U.S. economy is currently robust. The unemployment rate is at a 48-year low, and 312,000 jobs were added in December 2018, far more than the 177,000 that was expected. It looks like there will be growth, Dimon said. We're not going into a global recession. Okay. How many of you guys want to follow Jamie Dimon's word? He's been proven reliable in the past, right? Wrong. All right, last article up. Now, more fake news. Why Russia is probably not planning a $10 billion Bitcoin buy. Now, remember, we read that one in the news. So we've got fake news on this, okay? Several crypto news outlets have gone ham with a story about the Russian government allegedly planning a massive purchase of Bitcoin. Russia has made no official announcement to this effect. This reporter first came in contact with the story as it broke at the Daily Hodl. Oh gosh, Hodl, whatever. A site previously not known to this reporter as a source of fake news. This reporter does not speak Russian and has little clue how the Russian government works. One thing that was certain, there were no official Russian government sources making statements about Russia buying Bitcoin. Russia to use Bitcoin as a hedge against U.S. sanctions. January 6th, economist Vladislav Ginko, who works at the state-funded Russian Presidential Academy of National Economy and Public Administration, posted to Twitter that he believes Russia has no choice besides Bitcoin as a hedge against economic losses taken as a result of the U.S. sanctions against Russia. I remember reading this tweet. Chris, I believe, sitting here in Moscow, Russia, that the real factor of Bitcoin adoption, I think that means adoption, will be when Russian government I'm working for will start investing almost 470 billion reserves into Bitcoin. I expect that it'll be at least 10 billion in the first quarter of this year. Back in mid-December, the Trump administration added several Russians to the list of sanctioned entities which U.S. companies and persons cannot trade with. Ties with Russia have been strained since the U.S. entry into the Syrian civil conflict. Well, that should ease up because we're pulling out of Syria now, right? The sanctions and listings undertaken today are one part of an aggressive stand against the irresponsible acts directed by the government of the Russian Federation. Russian intelligence services cyber operations continue to seek to undermine democratic elections and delegitimize international organizations. Additionally, it is clear that Russian intelligence operatives use a military-grade nerve agent to carry out an assassination attempt inside the borders of our closest ally, a violation of Russia's obligations under the Chemical Weapons Convention. The same day as the Daily Hodl reported, a story cited by Forbes said, although Russia is not a big exporter to the U.S., canceled energy and defense contracts in Europe, coupled with bans on financing Russia's key lenders, have had an impact on the economy. The source cites himself. From there, Bitcoinist.com published a story based on the same sources. An Imgur user has created a convenient chart of how this fake news came to be. Okay, I see a bunch of tweets here. Is evidence to his claim many officials, families invested in Bitcoin, U.S. sanctions may be mitigated only through Bitcoin use and pension reform. All right. As you can see with Vladislav Ginko's latest tweets, he presently cites the articles based on his own tweets. Oh, that's funny there. You know who did that as well? I'm going to tell you a story about Donald Trump real quick. Donald Trump used fake stories about some of his real estate deals that were not legitimate to get onto lifestyles of the rich and famous. The lifestyle he showed off wasn't based off of money he made from his businesses. It was based off the inheritance he got from his father. Donald Trump then turned and used the documentaries from Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous to secure business loans from banks to fund some of his real estate deals. Okay, you guys see the cycle there? This is not politics. This is fact. This is exactly what he did. So he basically conned himself into getting on lifestyles of the rich and famous. And then he used the con of the lifestyles of the rich and famous to turn around to get banks to give him loans for his real estate projects. Hey, I'm not knocking the hustle. It worked. So what this guy did, this guy made up a bunch of tweets, right? Articles were written based on his tweets. Then he comes out and tweets again using sources of articles that was written based off of his own tweets. That's funny there. So he cites articles based on his own tweets as evidence of his claims. All of the reports he tweets about, you know what? That's like, okay, that's like a news article going back 2017 and 18, listening to Bitcoin Brandon crypto talks. And then writes an article based on Bitcoin Brandon, what he said, blah, 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 blah. And then I turn around and say, see, I told you what I was saying is true. Here's articles backing up what I said, even though the articles are written based off of what I said 2 years ago. That's kind of smart. Even well-known telegraph.co.uk posted a story based on the dubious claims. The Telegraph even upgraded Ginkgo from an academic to a Kremlin economist. Ginkgo also makes bizarre tweets like the following, where he claims convicted Ponzi scheme operator Bernie Madoff is the true Satoshi Nakamoto. Really? He says, I promise to fight for the freedom of Bernie Madoff, the true Satoshi Nakamoto. At real Donald Trump, be courageous. Ask for the retrial of Bernie. He's innocent. He was silenced and threatened since he was too much aware of murky financial deals of Obama and Biden. He has retweeted articles citing him dozens of times. This is exactly how fake news takes root, via the big lie theory. Tell a lie big enough, and the people will believe it. Repeat it, repeat, repeat. The following is an incomplete list of those who have run a story to the effect of Russia planning to buy $10 billion in Bitcoin. Bitcoinist, The Telegraph, The Daily Hodl, Mickey.com, TheBitcoinMag.com, and Zero Hedge. I'm a public media personality. You can trust me. Ginkgo says he's a public personality in Russian media. Says, as a member of this think tank, are you at liberty to divulge this information to the public? I mean, I remain very skeptical, but hope it is true. Ginkgo says, I'm public media figure too. I'm frequently appearing on TV and radio stations, Russian TV channel Rosalia 1, Facebook and Russian Sputnik Radio, YouTube. I write about cryptocurrencies, about cost management of mining companies. So trust me, because I'm a celebrity, in other words. Overall, the claim is sketchy. In a speculative sense, well-known eToro advisor Matty Greenspan seems to love the idea. Matty Greenspan says, from everything I can see, Russia has every incentive to add Bitcoin to their national reserves. The only thing holding them back is a legal framework to do so. As previously noted, CCN has not gotten any official comment from Russian officials. The last we knew, Russia was still waffling on cryptocurrency regulations. This was reported by CCN just 5 days before the new parties were added to the sanctions list. To date, the government has made no official pronouncement about acquiring a large amount of Bitcoin. In the event that Russia was to consider Bitcoin use in an official capacity, they would not be the first. One of their trading partners, Iran, has previously expressed interest in cryptocurrencies as a way to thwart U.S. sanctions. It seems Ginkgo might be trying to fake it until Russia makes it so. All the same, fake news is fake news, and that's all we will find here in this Russia buying $10 billion of Bitcoin story. Okay, based on what I've seen, and the evidence presented, I would call this manufactured news. Until we see or hear from an official source that Russia is about to buy $10 billion of Bitcoin, why would they even announce that? If I was Vladimir Putin, I'd just do it. And then leave the public to try to figure out who just bought $10 billion worth of Bitcoin. It would be a smart thing to do. But would they even announce that? So I am skeptical on this story. I reported on it the other day. But in light of new evidence, I'm skeptical that that might actually take place. What I am positive is that Russia and its allies are doing everything in their power to move away from the US dollar. They are selling all of our treasuries. They're stockpiling up on gold. They're making deals to be able to do trade with each other outside of the US dollar, the yen, or whatever else currency they want to use. They're already looking up ways to get involved in crypto. They have huge regions that developed for Ethereum mining. And their ultimate goal, again, is to remove the threat, or in other words, the consequences of U.S. sanctions. So that if they do get sanctioned, it ain't going to hurt them. Why do I believe that to be true? Because Vladimir Putin said so himself. So it's not beyond the pale of imagining that Russia might buy $10 billion of Bitcoin. I just don't see any proof or evidence that that's exactly what they're planning on doing. So yeah, I would consider that fake news. But more importantly, I don't like the term fake news. That's manufactured. He manufactured a story. When you're in journalism, you always hear about, you got to be careful that you don't become part of the story. He became part of the story. Donald Trump used to do that too. He would call up magazines pretending to be somebody else to spread news about Donald Trump himself. Again, that's not politics. Doesn't matter if I like him or not. That's a fact. You want to create your own news. And again, I'm not knocking the hustle on that either. Got him to the White House. That's all I'm saying. So anyways, that is the news for tonight. I hope you learned something new. Let's see, has the market changed in the last 21 minutes since I have been speaking? See if anything has happened here. Because we're now late night crypto. We got to watch. Asia is about to wake up. Or Europe's about to wake up. Asia's already up right now. It dipped a little bit. Just slightly, about $200 million dip since I've been talking. 3.93%. It was over 4% when I started. Still, you've got Tron's up 12%. So we've seen a little bit took a little bit closer. Polonius got at 3,600. 24-hour high was 36.61, so it's closer to the high level. 24-hour low, 34.86. The market still across the board. Look at Augers up 35%. Still across the board green. That's it. I'll be back tomorrow morning for early morning crypto talk. And I got a bunch of messages. People heard me talking about this freaking crypto phone. No, KGX does not have the ability to sell it yet. We are in negotiations with the Finny, the first ever blockchain phone on the market. We are in negotiations with MCS to be able to have the crypto phone. How would you like to pay one time and have unlimited talk, text, and web and never pay a phone bill again for the next 5 years? We don't have that in KGX yet. I do have the ability to sell the SIM card. So there is this month only up to $300 by the end of this month. After that, it's going to go to $600. So if anybody wants a SIM card, because I can't wait anymore, I don't know when we're going to have it in KGX. So anybody that wants the SIM card, let me know. We'll get you hooked up so that you get it while it's still cheap. $300, no cell phone bill for 5 years. That's freaking crazy. That's sick. Wrapping my mind around that. That's just crazy. Anyways, you guys have a great evening. I will be back tomorrow morning for early morning crypto talk. Let's see if anything happens in the next 12 hours. Have a good evening. Bitcoin Brandon out. God bless. Bye-bye.